Hello everyone. As I promised you before, in this lesson we are talking about present simple, but this time about all the verbs. So let's take a look at it. First of all, let's talk about the construction of this type of verb. When we have the subject pronouns I, you, we, and they, we have the verb. We add the verb. For example, let's take the verb work. When we have the subject pronouns he, she, it, we add s to the verb. Okay, let's talk about it. Before just making some examples and doing some exercises, let's see where we use this verb and this structure. So, as I have here a cup of coffee, I can talk about this part, habits and routines. I drink coffee every day. So, I drink coffee every day. Sorry, but this is a habit. This is a routine. So as I told you, it's something that is repeated again and again and again. So in this case, every day. Okay. So when we want to talk about the situations which are habits and routines, we use this verb. Yes, for example, you wake up every day, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, and you go to work. This is a routine for you every day. Does it have to be only every day? No. It can be for something that happens every year. So here we have a signal word. What is it? Every. So when we see this signal word, we are reminded that we need to use this structure, present simple. Every year. We go to Mexico every year, every summer. So this is one of the signal words for present simple when we are talking about habits and routines. The other signal word we are talking in this video is on or in or at. So the words that we use that show a special day. For example, on Mondays or on the weekends, in summer or in spring, or at night. The next signal words are words like usually, always, rarely. They are called frequency adverbs. When we see them, we should use present simple. So when we have these words, every, on, in, at, and frequency verbs, adverbs, sorry. So the next signal word for present simple for all the verbs is the words once or twice or 3 times. Yeah. For example, I go swimming once a week. It's an example. It happens 1 time a week, or other examples. So these are the signal words. When you see these words, you have to be sure that you need to use present simple. Okay, next use of this verb is permanent situations. Permanent situations like the time you live in a place. It's not something that happens just for a short period of time. It can happen for some jobs and for some people. But for the people who are permanently living in a city or a country, they can use this situation. So for example, my brother lives in Kiev. This is a permanent situation. This is not only for a short period of time. He lives there. Okay? Permanent situations. Next one, when we want to talk about facts. Facts of the world. Okay, when you drop When you release something, it falls. It's a fact of the world. It's due to the gravity, okay? Or when you heat the water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. It is something natural. It is a fact. Yeah? Next one, when we want to talk about states. What is states? It is also called state verbs. Yeah? You need to memorize them, but unfortunately in this video we cannot talk about the state verbs. We are going to have another video and talk about all the state verbs and where we use them, why we use them, and even if we can use them for present continuous or they are only used for present simple. But it is something that you need to know for the state verbs. We need to use them with present simple, not present continuous. This is a general rule, but for some of them it is possible to use them. Some state verbs, like when you want to express your thoughts and your opinions. I think, you don't say I'm thinking, which is also true, but for another example, just leave it alone, we will talk about it later. Or when you want to talk about preference, you prefer something. It doesn't start from one time to another time. It is something you want, you prefer, you like, you dislike, you love. Or for feelings, you smell, you see, you look, you hear, you taste. For feelings, yeah. Keep it in mind, state verbs, but we are not talking about state verbs in this video. Just present simple, yeah. Let's go to the next part. So we know that we use present simple for habits and routines, permanent situations, facts of the world, and states. We use the verb work, and here we added s. Of course, we don't always add s. Sometimes we add es, sometimes we add ies. So you need to be careful about the spelling rules. What are the spelling rules? Normally, for most of the verbs, we add s. Most of the verbs. Plays, yes, talks, walks. We add s. For some of the verbs, we add es. The verbs that end in ch, sh, x, and s. So these are it has the same sound, so x, the same sound, but we have these letters s, x, sh, and ch, the sounds ch, sh, x, and s. What are the examples? For example, watch. She watches TV every day. Wash. He washes the dishes every day. He might be a hand-picked person, so when his wife says, okay, wash the dishes, he says, yes, of course, and he washes the dishes. Next one is fix. So, for example, a person fixes the car. And pass. Pass, when we add es. Are there other verbs? Yeah. For the verbs that end in consonant and o, like do and go. When we add these verbs, s, we don't add s, we add es. Goes, does. Yes? We add es. And when our verb ends in y, but before y, we have consonant. What is consonant? When the sound is not vowel, it's a consonant. So vowel letters are a, e, i, o, u. Other letters are consonant letters, so they have consonant sounds. So, for example, for the verb play, we have Y. What should we do? Before Y, we have vowel. So, just add S. But for this one, we have cry. The verb ends in Y. What should we do? We look at the previous letter. The previous letter is a consonant. So when we want to add ES, we need to remove Y and add IES. Cries, studies, yes, tries. These are the examples for adding IES. So we talked about the spelling rules. The next thing we are going to talk about. First of all, you need to keep in mind that we only change the verb for affirmative sentences, for positive sentences. For negative and questions, we don't need to change the verb. Just relax, keep calm, deep breath. So, only for affirmative sentences. What about the negative sentences? When we want to make a negative sentence in this structure, for these we have do, not, plus the verb, the base form of the verb. And for this part, we have does, not, plus the verb. Yes, it's easy. What did you expect? So, I do not play basketball. Yes. They do not smoke cigarette. It's a very bad habit. Don't do it. So, they do not smoke cigarette. Present simple. Yeah? It's a habit. It's a good habit. They do not smoke cigarette. He does not listen to music. What kind of person that is? He doesn't listen to music? Okay, it's better to break the relationship with that person who doesn't listen to music. What kind of person that is? But you may say, I mean, are you a robot or something? No, I'm not a robot. I want to make sure. So when we want to sound more natural, we use the contraction. The contraction form of do not is don't. And the contraction for does not is doesn't. Yeah, some say, okay, he is a robot. I do not play basketball. Yeah, it's very long and it sounds like a robot. To make it more natural, sound more natural, we use the contraction forms. I don't play soccer. She doesn't smoke cigarette. They don't play basketball. He doesn't work 8 hours a day. And different examples. So we talked about affirmative sentences and negative sentences. Now let's talk about questions. As I told you before, you don't need to worry about the negative sentences and the questions. So you don't need to add anything to the verb. Just use the base form of the verb. Let's make some examples. First, we are going to ask yes/no questions. For these subject pronouns, I, you, we, and they, we use the auxiliary do. Do you play soccer? Do you listen to music? Do they speak English? Does for he, she, and it. Does he listen to music? Does your dad work on the weekends? And lots of examples. So we use the auxiliaries before the subject pronouns. And after that, we have the base form of the verb. Don't worry about anything. And for the last part of this video, for present simple, we want to ask WH questions. So how are we going to ask WH questions? As I told you before in other videos, when we want to ask WH question, we use the WH word before the yes no question. So do, does. Before that, for example, where? Where do you work? Or how? How does she go to work? Yes? Why? Why do you listen to music? Okay? I listen to music because I want to relax. It can be an answer. So we can ask WH questions with using the WH words before the yes-no questions. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and you can use it. You need to do lots of exercises so that now you know the theory. You need to practice more and more and be careful, because I have seen lots of students who make lots of mistakes, especially in present simple. Okay, watch out, be careful, speak more fluently and powerfully. Enjoy your speaking English. See you soon. Bye-bye.